The Sui Hero Technique in Clash of Clans. This video will fully explain it so that you understand what it is, why you would use it, and exactly how to do it. It will help you get more 3 stars. I am initially joined by one of my clanmates who recently had a very impressive, very intuitive Sui Hero attack. So he's going to explain that first. We're starting out very advanced, and then we have 2 other attacks as well using this technique, which we will break down so you fully understand it by the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so in this video we will break down the Sui portion of the attack, how you can get good value from only committing a small amount of troops in order to then set up your attack. Now we are joined again by Feith of Crunch Time in order to help break down this base. Then we will show you a couple of others. But you came up with a pretty ingenious plan to get massive value out of a Sui method. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. Thank you for joining me again.
Thank you for having me again. It's my pleasure to be here. So I noticed on this base the CC is quite offset. So there was a lot of value you could get from the 9 o'clock section. It was just a matter of figuring out what you wanted to do in there. So at first I thought a queen charge, but there's 2 ground bows and the sweeper, which is very heavy. And then I came up with the idea for a Heroes and Sui Wrecker into that 9 o'clock IT.
Yeah.
Because once you get into that IT, you open up for the queen to get so much value just from that one compartment. And that's just with a Wrecker and the queen. So it's very small investment for pretty big value.
Massive value. And the thing that you mentioned right off the bat there, which we will focus on throughout this video as well, but the position of the CC is hugely important when it comes to a Sui method, because obviously you don't want your heroes stuck up on the CC troops. You want them to get that value and get out of there. So obviously that's a huge part of this. And like you said, there's just, you know, a lot of value down there in terms of the Inferno Tower, the Eagle Artillery, Air Defense Wizard Tower. You finished this one off with, or the plan was to finish this one off with a Lalo as well. You're getting good value there. It kind of makes sense for the Lalo, but why exactly did you think that was the case?
So if you look at the position of the sweepers, neither of them really cover the 12 o'clock or the town hall section. And with the value you get from the Sui bit, it leaves a nice L shape to Lalo. And you've negated both sweepers essentially, so it's a really nice Lalo.
Perfect. So we've mentioned Sui method. You've decided, hey, why don't we take a wall wrecker into this section? Really creative. How do you get your heroes in there? There's a lot of buildings there that are going to draw your troops around the outside. And I know I might be, making this sound complicated when it's, potentially not that complicated, but you've got to set up that funnel as well. So what was your initial thoughts on that? How do you do that as effectively as possible without committing too many troops?
Yeah, so this was actually a cleanup hit. We tried this hit once, and there was a Tesla farm at 9 o'clock, which we weren't expecting, which ruined the funnel quite a lot. So what we changed on the second hit was to use the king for the Tesla farm, and then at 10 o'clock was to use 3 loons and a couple minions to get the cannon and gold mine, and then it leaves the war wrecker and the queen just a simple channel to go into, which is the IT compartment.
Perfect. So why don't we dive straight into that, and then people can see this unfold and they can see the value that they get from the Sui method, which is exactly what you're trying to do. So I've pressed start on the replay. We see the 3 loons coming in first with their minions. And that's a great way to just set up the funnel there. It gets that inside cannon, gets the gold mine. You don't have to worry about anything else on that side.
Yeah, exactly. There was enough space between those buildings that you didn't need to funnel anymore, which was nice.
I like the use of the king down to the bottom there as well, because with his ability, he can power straight through them trash buildings at the bottom and just force the queen straight in. So, yeah, fantastic use of the funnel there. You made that look easy, or the planning of it made it look easy. Ice Golem is always good inside that CC just to freeze everything up. And wow, the queen can just step up and get, like you said, so much value.
Yeah, there's nothing actually hitting the queen for a while, so she can do her job. And then, yeah, the Ice Golem.
You got the queen there. Imagine if you'd got the enemy queen. Like, you weren't that far away in terms of, I know you set up the plan for this one. The attacker wasn't far away there.
No, but I think we
were stretching it for the queen.
Yeah, exactly. Too much to ask.
Yeah. Okay.
But he got the value he needed, which was perfect.
Yeah, because now we've just... This is, obviously, for this video, guys, we're not breaking down as much the Lalo. I actually did a video with Thief just the other day. I will link that one at the end of this so you can see his Lalo attacks. But we are basically just showing you the Suey method and how it brought open the huge area and the pathing for the Lalo where you've got all of the rest of the troops. You've actually committed very little to the start, and that's the whole point of it.
Yes.
Again, made it look easy. Crunch time OP.
Yeah, Sui openers are very powerful. You just got to find the right place to Sui.
Yeah, and in this one, I think we did that really well. Something that I want to make note of as well as the Ice Golem within the Wall Wrecker. You don't always have to use a Wall Wrecker, but sometimes that Ice Golem for 15 troop capacity can be a really nice addition because it can help the Queen to just tank through so much more. And then when it freezes as well, you might even get an extra 2 or 3 defenses just for that Ice Golem. So it's often a good addition to a Sui method. Very cool to be joined by my clanmate on that one. If you missed the interview where we had Feith explain his Lalo attacks, I will be sure to link that video at the end of this one. However, into this second attack, let's first think about what we learnt on that first replay. You don't want to lure the clan castle troops unless your objective is to take them out with the Sui method, but most of the time that's not going to be the case. So we need to ensure we don't activate the clan castle troops. What fail time does here is recognizes that the enemy king is skewed off to the side of the base, and because he is using mass Hog Riders, the king is one of them troops that you need to consider. So he could actually use his own king in order to swap here, would have to get the timing right, aggro the king, make him jump over the wall, decides to use the queen, but the king and queen in the same position. What he's going to be able to get is 2 archer towers, the cannon, archer tower at the top here, and also there is a mortar and Tesla up there. So he takes all of that out, but not only that, creates pathing for the Hog Riders here so they can be drawn straight through the center of the base. They're not necessarily coming to the outside. You don't want your Hog Riders to initially be caught here, then drawn outside here. So it's not always about the amount of value, although granted, takes down a number of point defense here, helps with that pathing very slightly. You might not, unless you're breaking your heroes into the base, you might not be able to get huge differences in terms of pathing. Sometimes it's very subtle, like here, where you're taking out them few buildings, and that is what you're after. Now, we referenced this in the first replay, but the Ice Golem can be a fantastic addition to a Sui Hero method, because for 15 troop capacity, it actually managed to tank the 2 archer towers and the ground expo. Obviously, you've got to be taking note of a ground expo, huge range. Make sure you're not missing out on that one and overlooking it. But obviously, the Ice Golem gets that freeze effect as well. Queen just about gets the enemy king here, nearly takes out this cannon, but does not. King powers around the top, gets the Tesla, gets the mortar, and as we zoom out here, 20% of the base already down with just the heroes. So that's pretty good in terms of time, obviously going to be helpful if you're not going to time fail, but the point defense, and look at that pathing again here. So the Hog Riders can stick within the base, and we're trying to condense them towards the eagle in the center. If they all started splitting up to the side here, it wouldn't necessarily be as easy to do that. But with a mass Hog Rider attack, Fail time able to come in from a number of different angles, takes down a couple of defenses first. That just means that his hogs don't clump per se into a couple of groups, and he can focus them straight into the center of the base, aiming for the Eagle Artillery, knows that the Town Hall isn't going to be activated, and he can clip that with the Stone Slammer once it's activated and the Hog Riders are gone. Again, if it's a single attack format, you might not know what's in the CC, but if you do, make sure that you are taking that into account. Again, it's a Lava Hound, which a lot of people use to cut out Queen charge attacks. Don't pop it. Keep your queen away from the Lava Hound. It's not going to do anything to your attack. Once the hogs have got through the bottom, cleared out the town hall, the slammer is free to take that out. Yes, if the troops inside end up going down, not a big deal anyway, but if there's no other defenses in the area, the slammer can take that down and ensure that you can then pop the troops out of the inside. One thing I forgot to mention here, but with any Sui attack, if you're not taking the Archer Queen and you're using Hog Riders or Lalo, the skeleton spells will be important for the enemy Queen. So you're welcome to rewind back and have a quick look at when the Hog Riders came in, but in essence, Skelly spell on top of the Queen, you want a Rage spell there as well. You've got to take note of any splash damage within that area so that whatever is in there is not necessarily going to be blasting the skeleton spells. They need to take the queen. It's a good time to, especially with Hog Riders, use the Grand Warden ability as well, so that your Hog Riders go through the rage, everything is invincible, and fail time, getting it done here, but let's break down one more attack. This is the last Sui Hero attack I will break down, and then we will send you across to the pro tips interview we did for that Lalo attack. By the way guys, all of the attacks in this video are by Crunch Time in our CWL Elite matchup. If you're interested in joining Crunch Time, be sure to join my Discord server, linked down in the description. You'll find everything you need to know from there. So this attack was given to you as a sneak peek at the start of the video, so you kind of know what is getting taken out, and we will now explain why. Now Kevin uses a couple of support troops here. With any Sui hero method, yes, you're basically just using the heroes and you're not committing a lot of troops to it, but if you can commit a couple and get even more value, then go for it. You've got to consider as well that if you want your troops into the base, you've then got to create the funnel for them. So Kevin uses a baby dragon, couple of loons in order to set up the funnel on one side, and your king is a brilliant troop to set up the funnel for your queen. So try and place that king in first. You can easily predict his pathing. Now for a type of format war where you get two attacks, if you know a Tesla farm is at the side of the base, that can be very good value for your Sui method, because you can take it down really easily, and also it can trip up a Lalo very easily as well if it is at the edge of the base like this. Now I love that the king got through there to access the multi-inferno. Incredible stuff. Could have tried to slot in some wall breakers, but then we'd have to freeze the multi. But let's just pause for a second again. 20% done. The entire bottom section gone. Tesla farm is wiped out. Multi-inferno is wiped out. Look at the ground expos there as well for that Lalo attack. Beautiful stuff. Now the good thing about any Sui attack is that you haven't committed a lot of troops. You haven't really committed any spells to it. So Kevin now can deploy from each and every angle here with the Lalo. He has a big group to the top left, big group to the top right, and they will both then merge into the center over that eagle, and that's exactly what you want. You want your Lalo to clump from either side and gather together in the middle of the base. Look, the Skelly spell is coming in on top of the rage right as the queen is there. Now you've got to get the timing of this right. Don't put the Skelly spell in too quick and have splash damage wipe it out, or have the queen then go somewhere else. Wait until the time is right, even if that means you lose a balloon or two. As we zoom out again, just look at all of the spells around the base. Because of the Sui method, you've got a huge boatload of troops, you've got a huge boatload of spells. As long as you can get that value, much like any kill squad, then you can get this done. Can we get through the final attack here without the raid and the replay resetting? Well, I think we've got through the replay that you know what happened here, guys. Do let me know in the comments if you've got any other tips for the Sui Lalo. We've lost connection, but thankfully we've made it to the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments any other tips you have. Let me know if you're still here. Hashtag connection lost. But if you want to see that pro tips interview for the LavaLoon, I'm going to link it on your screen here now. Be sure to check that out. Similar format, breaking down attacks. But that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, peace out.